Got my eyes straight ahead, got my head in the game. With the red light on, I'm just waiting for the change. Keep my head down low.
Well. West Australian police at it again. A police officer involved in a scuffle. It was investigated by the internal investigators, police investigators. They, surprise, found that there's not enough evidence to charge him, because this is the issue. They put themselves in the seat of investigator and magistrate, investigator and judge. That's what they're doing. I'm going to read this story to you, but think about this: if this was a police officer who'd been assaulted by another person, a civilian, they would be pursuing this to the nth degree. They would not be stopping. They would be going forward 100%. Or if this was assaulting another civilian, again, very likely with the evidence that's available that they would be pursuing this. Okay. But when it's a police officer who's involved in a scuffle, then they come back and say, there's not enough evidence, because they are putting themselves, they can't be trusted to investigate themselves. And they're also not just behaving as the investigators, they are behaving as the judge and jury all at the same time. That's what's happening. So, West Australian Police. I also did up a couple of shorts that I'm going to put out again. Check them out. This is regarding the alleged assault that happened early in the year in February. You remember the police officer who threw the Indigenous man to the ground and then just jumped in his car and drove off? Whatever happened to that? I can't find anything that's happened to it. He was being investigated, stood down, still working that, but just working around the office. It's all disappeared. Who knows? If you find anything out about it, let me know. Flick me a story or something. So I put up a couple of stories just to refresh everyone's memory of that too, just so we don't forget these things. You should never forget these things and just let them slide. So I want to go through two separate articles. This one first. So WA police find insufficient evidence to charge officer in alleged choking complaint after road incident. So here's the photos here. I believe this is the police officer. If you're watching this on video, that's the police officer there. He's got his hand clearly around the back of the other chap's neck. Doesn't mean he's choking him, but something's going on, okay? Assault is happening somehow. So a man who alleges he was choked by an off-duty police officer in front of his daughter says he has lost trust in the police force. And police, this is what police services all around the country need to think about. People, just average people, are losing their faith, their trust in police services all around the country. So Sean Beasley was driving with his daughter Sky in Perth's western suburbs in February last year when the incident unfolded. The officer, Sergeant Glenn Morey, has never been charged, with police saying there was insufficient evidence. Interesting. The WA Parliamentary Inspector, Matthew Zilko, said in his annual report tabled in Parliament that it was difficult to understand WA Police's decision. There was more than sufficient evidence for a magistrate rather than the Internal Affairs Unit to determine whether an offence had been committed, he said. This is what I mean by the police are putting themselves in as investigator and magistrate. So dramatic photographs of the scuffle taken by Mr. Beasley's daughter Sky appear to show Sergeant Morey with his right hand on the back of Mr. Beasley's neck. Increasing the brightness of the photos reveal details in the reflection of the sergeant's sunglasses, which appear to show his other hand on Mr. Beasley's throat. Interesting. Beasley was driving with his daughter Sky in his car on the afternoon of February 27, 2024, when he alleges Morey cut him off. There was nothing to it. I beeped him. He gave me the finger. I gave him the finger back. This is what Beasley told the ABC. The situation began to escalate minutes later when both cars stopped at a red light. Morey, the sergeant, got out of his car, which he admitted had been foolish. Okay, so if we stop right there, that right there for me means that we should be taking this further. If this person, this police officer, got out of his car, okay, you pull up, someone bips you, gives you the finger, whatever. You don't get out. As soon as you get out of the car, you're the one escalating. You're the one who's the problem. Someone gives you the finger, Who cares? Someone calls you some names from their car and they don't get out. Who cares? If you're the one that's going to get out, you're the one escalating. You are the problem. There are differing accounts of what happened next. See, for me, it just stops there. He got out, so he's the one. Beasley said he initially told the man to leave, but eventually also got out of the car to confront him. He wouldn't go back to his car. He's blocking the entrance to my car, so I grabbed him by the shoulders and tried to move him back, Beasley said. Beasley's daughter was sitting in the front passenger seat at the time. I was panicking. I was like, okay, I need to get evidence. I jumped out of the car, I took a few photos, and then I just chucked my phone to the ground and I jumped on his back. Sky said she tried to pry the sergeant off her father. I jumped on his back, and honestly, I didn't even really do anything. He was really strong. I was afraid for my dad. Beasley said he managed to slip out of the sergeant's grip and slapped him across the face. Maury alleges Beasley punched him, not slapped. Well, you attacked him, buddy. You got out of your car and come at him. What do you want him to do? Anyway, it says not slapped, according to the parliamentary inspector's report, which said it was clear that both parties used some degree of force during the fight. I was so outraged, we got in the car and went straight to Scarborough Police Station, Beasley said. Photos of Mr. Beasley at the police station show him with scratch marks on his neck and arm and a torn shirt. That's evidence, isn't it? To support his narrative. He filed a police report along with his daughter's photos from the scene. At the time, Beasley was still unaware that the man he was filing a police report about was a serving police officer. Beasley said he received a phone call from WA Police Internal Affairs Unit the next morning, which assured him they would be completely objective. We give you our assurances. We're going to be completely objective. As soon as you get a call from Internal Affairs saying, yeah, we're investigating it. I mean, we all know here in Queensland, if the ethics unit from Queensland ever calls and say, oh, we're just investigating another police officer, you know very well the case is screwed up. Seriously, the most useless bunch of police. 2 months later, Beasley received a letter from the IAU advising there was insufficient evidence to charge Sergeant Maury. If it had been me allegedly choking him, an off-duty police officer, and there were photos of my hands around his neck, there's no way in hell they would have abandoned the pursuit. He is absolutely right. There is no way. If that was him attacking or had his hands around an off-duty police officer's throat, neck, there's no way. With photos to boot. There is no way they would have abandoned it. They would have gone full tilt ahead. The ABC has been unable to contact the sergeant directly for his story, but it is understood he strenuously denies the allegations. In a statement, WA Police said the sergeant had been subjected to internal managerial investigations and actions, but maintained there was insufficient evidence to lay charges. A spokesman said police took all findings or opinions of police misconduct seriously, and then they called Queensland Police and said, what's that line that you always use? Oh, that's right. We are committed to transparency and accountability. Oh, yeah. Oh, you can't take them seriously, can you? They're just fools. Anti-corruption watchdog Beasley filed a complaint with the WA Corruption and Crime Commission, CCC, which initially agreed with WA Police, but reversed its findings months later. Yeah, it's funny. You apply a bit of pressure, put out a few photos, and okay, maybe we can't just sweep this under the rug, The CCC found there was sufficient evidence to charge Sergeant Maury with aggravated assault occasioning bodily harm and suffocation and strangulation. That's fairly serious. So they find that there was sufficient evidence. So do you think, if the CCC over there find that there is sufficient evidence, do you think that forces the WA police hand? Do you think that then forces them to take action? No. In his annual report, the parliamentary inspector who oversees the CCC said the WA Police Internal Affairs Unit suggested Sergeant Maury could argue that he was provoked or defending himself. So, like I said, they're placing themselves in as the magistrate or the jury. That's what they're doing. Oh, no, he could argue this. Heaven forbid we put a case forward where someone could argue back. Idiots. Provoked or defending himself, which would be difficult to overcome during any court proceedings. Well, it's going to be a degree of difficulty, so we don't think we can pursue any charges at this time. Please, please have some understanding, but please know that we're committed to transparency and accountability. Idiots. The parliamentary inspector said police were not entirely objective when dealing with allegations of police misconduct. Well, no joke. So, why the heck do you have an internal affairs unit if you all know that police are not objective? Why do you even have the unit? There are obvious difficulties in prosecuting an assault where both parties have applied force. Nevertheless, it seemed to me that there was more than sufficient evidence for a magistrate rather than the IAU to determine whether an offence had been committed. The case highlights the inherent bias. I hope someone from QPS is watching this. You know, little Shane Pryor. Are you watching? You listening to this? Inherent bias at play when police investigate themselves, according to lawyer Jeremy King, who specialises in police misconduct allegations. He said it should be up to a magistrate. Instead of the police just deciding that they will do everything, it should be up to a magistrate, like everyone else has to go through to decide what happened in the scuffle. Let's go over to this next report here. This came through on the ABC. It says, so Mr. Zilko, this is the Triple C spokesman. Few things that he said. The Triple C accepted the police findings, describing the outcome as unsatisfactory. Zilko said in his report, police had not taken their responsibilities under the Corruption and Crime Act seriously. So they haven't taken it seriously. And worse, the commission had not compelled it to do so. What is the point in having a commission if you're not even going to compel the police to do their flipping job? The man told Mr. Zilko, the process of seeking justice had been extremely costly and distressing. Like I said, this is what happens when police services, police force around our nation, they use charges, they use offences as a weapon. They put offences, they charge you with things because it is so stressful, it's costly, it's distressing. It puts all this pressure on you, and people, they just capitulate. They go along with it. They'll say, okay, I'll just go with it. Just drop the charges or, drop them down or something. I'll just plead guilty just for the sake of it, just because I don't want to deal with all this stress of the flipping government department attacking me. A Triple C spokesperson said it would review Mr. Zilko's report and give it due consideration. Yeah, what? Okay. Due consideration. That's a bit of a slap in the face, isn't it? Zilko said the cases showed the WA Police Internal Investigation Unit was not entirely objective in how it deals with allegations. The Police Internal Investigation Unit is, might I say, sometimes reluctant to find misconduct by police officers. That's my view of it. This is what he told the ABC. Remember, this is WA Police. Zilko said while those cases troubled him, he stressed the police force by large do a very good job. Well, it's all just an opinion, really, isn't it? I'm only here to see the things that could go wrong, So I don't speak about the things that go right, he said. Everybody can learn something from this. You know what they could learn? They could learn to actually investigate their own people honestly, or maybe don't investigate their people at all and bring in external investigators to investigate without bias. Has anyone ever thought of that? In a statement, WA Police said it was committed to the highest standards of transparency, probity, and accountability. Oh, please. They're committed, all right. All reports of misconduct are robustly investigated with independent oversight by the Corruption and Crime Commission, a spokesperson said. What's the point in having an independent oversight? It's not so independent if they just went along with what you'd said in the first place and then backflipped and then didn't make you investigate it properly or charge the officer. What's the point? Yes, we've got this independent oversight. That's not really that independent, and we'll just do what we say anyway. That's how independent works. This is... Before I go on any further, please give me a like and a share. Also, check out either buy me a coffee or just check out my music. I've got the little logo up there. Just give my music a spin on Spotify or Apple Music, something like that. Thanks for supporting me. Okay, that's all. I don't need anything else. Thank you for your support. Just a like on the video is brilliant. Listen, the WA police need to have a good, long, hard look at themselves. Now, I seriously don't think they will because they just told us we've got oversight. We've got this wonderful organisation, the Triple C. They oversee everything we do. We do something wrong, they watch us do it. We write a report saying that we did do it right, and they look at the report and agree with what we say. That's our oversight. That's how everything works. That's how oversight works. So why? Why? They can sit there and tell barefaced lies that they believe in accountability, in transparency, because their cousins from Queensland police say exactly the same thing, and they barefaced lies too. They need to be held accountable. Is anyone else in the West Australian government actually looking at this, looking at what's occurring? Now, I was thinking about this whole situation. We had the issue with all these people in New South Wales who were strip searched, and it was unlawful. There were, gaslighting going on because the police were denying that they did any of the strip searches. Then just before it all goes to court, oh yeah, actually we did do those strip searches. We forgot about that. Mind you, they'd lined up all these police to come and give evidence, all these witnesses. So you got to wonder, were these witnesses actually just going to go and purge themselves in court? Because that's what it might have been, I'd say. So that's alleged. Alleged. It's just what it looks like. It might have been. So you've got something like that happening. You've got all these different assaults happening around the whole country. Police, off-duty police officers getting in trouble for assaulting people. In Queensland, we had that fellow who had assaulted a woman twice while he's off duty. Another guy was just charged the other week with assault as well. I don't know how many assaults have been happening in Queensland when they're off duty. Not to mention all the shootings that have happened. And then you've had all these cases in Western Australia. Okay, you had that one at the start of the year with the gentleman who just threw that Indigenous male to the ground and gets in his car, drives off. But they stood him down, put him on desk duty for a while. So yeah, it's all good. You have things like this. Internal Affairs are investigating it. They found that there was nothing going on. What the police services all around this country need to think about, and I want to be careful with what I say here, because I'm not condoning violence at all. At all. Violence against police, when the police officer is working, violence against police is very rarely justified, and very, very rarely can it and should it be justified, okay? There are obviously some heavy-handed tactics, but it's dangerous because, mate, if you're in Queensland, you're going to get shot. But this is what police services all around our country need to remember. We have stories like this. You have an officer off duty who is behaving just atrociously. He gets out of the car. As far as I'm concerned, when someone's having words and there's a bit of aggro going on, if you go and get out of the car and escalate like that, well then, mate, that's your problem. You are the one who has escalated everything. Just stay in your car. The thing is, police aren't trusted. They cannot be trusted to investigate their own people properly. People are losing faith with our police services all around the country. So when we have violence against police, and we've seen some very atrocious acts of violence against police, our hierarchy, our leadership all around the nation cannot be surprised, because people have been losing patience. People justify it in their minds. They think, well, this is what police are doing to fellow Australians. They're getting out, they're attacking, they're assaulting people. They're not getting charged. They're not getting held accountable. Therefore, they justify it in their mind, and they think that they can come and attack police officers when they come to their door, knocking on their front door. I'm not for a second justifying what has happened in the last couple of years towards police. But what do police services, what do the commissioners around our nation, what do they think is going to happen? You're losing the PR battle. You're losing the PR battle because you are supporting bad police behavior, and you are not holding anyone accountable. When people are obviously doing things wrong, You're not even going through the motions. You're doing the most basic cover up. And then you wonder why no one trusts the police. People have lost their faith and people become violent towards police. That is no justification at all. But this is a cause and effect situation, in my opinion. Police commissioners and hierarchy all around this nation have directly caused the people, the citizens of this nation, to lose their faith in police because they do not hold officers accountable for their stupid behavior. And then you wonder why the public lose faith, lose trust, and lash out at police officers. That's what's going on, and it's your own fault. You need to have a proper look at yourself and the way you investigate police, the way you investigate your own. Stop investigating your own, for starters, and hold police accountable. That's just my opinion. I'm Jay Fallon. Thanks for listening.
They just fuel a desire that will take me higher.